Hi bakers, I'm Crystal the Cake Lady, and today I'm going to be sharing my recipe for Peach Cobbler Pound Cake. Doesn't that sound delicious? Like two of our favorite desserts got together and had a baby. Here in the South, we have an abundance of peaches this time of year, and I cannot think of a better way of using some up than on this delicious dessert. Now today I'm going to do things just a little differently. I'm going to include a written recipe in the description box below, so you can click down there for a full written recipe, and we're just going to jump right in and start baking. So the very first thing we're going to do is in a small saucepan, go ahead and melt together a half a stick of butter and a half a cup of brown sugar. While that's melting, we're going to spray our Bundt Pan with Baker's Joy and arrange some peaches in the bottom of the pan. Now I'm just using canned peaches for this part. This is going to be kind of like a pineapple upside down cake, but with peaches. We're going to pour the brown sugar and butter mixture over this, and then that's going to be baking along with the cake. It's going to be really, really scrumptious. I'm going to save a little bit of the juice to use in my glaze later on when we're finished with the cake. If you don't use canned peaches, therefore you don't have the juice, don't worry about it. You can just use milk or cream in place of the juice. Okay, that's all nice and melted together. So now we're going to go ahead and pour it over the peaches. Yummy. Okay, we've got our oven preheating to 325 degrees, so I'm going to go ahead and start making the batter now. For pound cake, you always start by creaming the sugar and the butter together. So I've got 3 sticks of salted butter, and I'm going to go ahead and add 3 cups of granulated sugar to that. Okay, we've got our butter and sugar creamed together, so now we're going to add 5 room temperature eggs, one at a time. Okay, now we're going to combine our dry ingredients. So I've got 3 cups of all-purpose flour. I've got 1 teaspoon of baking powder, a half a teaspoon of salt, and for a little extra peach flavor, we're adding half a packet or a quarter of a cup of peach flavored gelatin. There we go. And what we'll do is add this alternately with our wet ingredient, which you can use, buttermilk, sour cream, people use heavy whipping cream, things like that in their pound cake, but I've decided to use peach yogurt. So I'm adding a cup of peach yogurt. Well, I shouldn't say a cup. It's a container, 5.3 ounces, somewhere around there, of peach flavored yogurt as my wet ingredient. So we're gonna add that alternately until it's all gone. And we'll also go ahead and add our flavoring extracts at this time. I've got 2 teaspoons of vanilla and 1 teaspoon of almond extract going in. Okay, I'm going to give it 1 stir up from the bottom and then go ahead and add my diced up peaches. I ran them through the food processor. I've probably got maybe a little more than 2 cups here. You want to make sure you do at least 2 cups, and I'm using frozen peaches because those are available all year round. You could of course use fresh or even canned peaches if you want to. These little peach bits are going to keep it so nice and moist, kind of the way a carrot cake is so nice and moist because of the little bits of carrot everywhere. So we'll go ahead and kind of gently pour this into our pan, trying not to mess up those pretty peaches. I'm actually going to set this on a cookie sheet to bake just in case any of that brown sugar butter mixture wants to come out of the top of it while it's cooking. I won't have a mess in the bottom of the oven. Just a warning, this cake can take a really long time to bake. I've had it take up to 1 hour and 40 minutes before, but go ahead and start checking it with a toothpick after 1 hour and 15 and just keep adding 5 minutes until the toothpick comes out clean. I let this sit for about 10 minutes or so before inverting onto the cooling rack, then another 10 minutes or so before pulling the pan off to help the peaches loosen from the top. If a few peaches slide off, it's no big deal. Just stick them back where they belong while it's still warm. This cake needs to cool for a minimum of 3 hours. Okay, our cake has been cooling a little more than 3 hours, so I went ahead and transferred it to the serving plate, and we'll go ahead and make our glaze now. Okay, for the glaze, we're going to start with 1 cup of powdered sugar, about a half a teaspoon of vanilla. I never measure my vanilla, just a little dash. And then I had reserved the peach juice from when I used the canned peaches for the top of the cake. So we're just going to start with a tablespoon of peach juice. If you didn't use canned peaches and you don't have peach liquid, you can just use milk or half and half, cream, anything like that. A little bit of liquid goes a really long way when you're making a glaze. So if you want to add more, just do a few drops at a time. I think that tablespoon is going to do it for me. Let's go ahead and bring our cake over here and pour on the glaze. There is so much moisture on the top of this cake, the glaze will soak in a matter of hours. So if you're not serving it right away, you may want to wait to glaze it until just before serving time. You really don't even need a glaze. I just think it looks even more tantalizing, so I like to add it. Okay, for the moment we've all been waiting for, let's cut into this gorgeous peach cobbler pound cake. You guys know my theory about breakfast and cake. If there's fruit in it, it's totally breakfast food. Oh my goodness, you guys, I can see how moist and delicious this is just from cutting right into it. This is going to be so, so good. Moment of truth. I'm going to sink my teeth into this delicious peach cobbler pound cake. Make sure I get a little bit of that yummy peach from the top. It's got the buttery, velvety texture of a pound cake with the delicious, sticky, caramelized peach cobbler flavor on the outside. It is so good. I hope you guys are going to give this a try. If you enjoyed today's video, please leave a thumbs up and maybe a comment in the comment section below. And most importantly, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Crystal the Cake Lady. You can hit the button right up here. Until next time, happy baking.